What up, nerds? I'm Bryson. You can call me Bammed, and this is CTF and Cigars by Bam CTF, where I talk about CTF's. Well, first I light up a cigar, then I talk about CTF security and other hacking related topics. And believe it or not, it's actually cold in Houston today. It was kind of muggy yesterday. It was in the mid 70s. It was muggy, and today I'm sitting out here freezing my ass off. But let's continue. So today I am smoking. It's an Oliva. It's a Series V, and this is a Diadema. So a Diadema, it's a large figurado with a closed and tapered head. So you can see the head's a little bit tapered there. It's usually about 8 inches long. This one's 7 inches with long with a 49 gauge. You can see it's actually tapered on both ends. So with the Series V, so I don't think I've had a Series V on the show before. I had the Series V Milanio, but this is just the Series V. So for the aroma, my nose is freezing. But it's it's a little peppery with some cedar, just a little bit of sort of sweetness like cream, a little bit of coffee and chocolate. And let me go ahead and get this cut. Actually, it's a pretty small head, so I'm going to use a straight cut if I can find my cutter here. It's in one of these pockets I've got. There it is. All right, so what we should expect for this, so the first third, we're going to get some more of that cedar, kind of woody, with a bit of coffee bean. And some very mild cocoa with just a bit of zest. And then when we get to the second third, it gets a little more spicy. It's less sweet. We get more coffee and leather. So about halfway, there's just a real strong kind of coffee flavor. And then that final third gets more peppery, but then some of those sweeter notes like the cocoa kind of returns. There's some more cedar. It really kind of melds well together. So let me toast the foot here. So we're just heating up the foot of the cigar. Try not to burn it, and then we'll light it up. Yeah, it's definitely when you do the retrohale, so you breathe it in, but you don't actually suck it into your lungs. Never do that. But you exhale through your nose, and you get a little bit of extra pepper and cedar there. But yeah, on the initial inhale, there's some of that cream and coffee as well. All right. So this week I have been going through the advent of Cyber 2. Let's pull that up. So I am up to day 21, I believe. So yeah, I've been trying to get caught up. I'm up to day 21. Today's we're going to go through days 21 through 23. At the time I started the show, day 24 wasn't available yet. So I have no idea what that challenge looks like. This is as far as I have available to me right now. So we're going to go through these. And this should be fun. So we're going to start off with some forensic. So I think all three of these, yeah, 21, 22, 23, these are all blue team stuff. All right. All right, so one of the little helpers logged into his workstation only to realize that the database connector file has been replaced and he can't find the naughty list anymore. Furthermore, upon executing the database connector file, a taunting message was displayed, hinting that the file was moved to another location. McEager's been notified, and he will put the pieces together to find the database connector file. All right, so Darkstar's done a video if you want to watch that, where he will explain how to walk through this, or you can continue watching and watch me do it. All right, so this is going to be a Windows system we need to log into. I've got my attack box pulled up. I've already deployed my target, and we need to pull up Ramina for our RDP access. So let's pull that up. We can hit cancel here on about the keyring. and they tell us here how to connect. Make sure you pay attention to the details here. So we're going to make a new connection. We've got our IP 10.10.251.183. Username is Little Helper. Password is I love snow exclamation. And don't forget to change the color depth or you'll get an error when you try to log in. All right, we're going to accept the certificate. Okay, and we are connecting. All right, so we are going to continue our journey with PowerShell. So we did PowerShell, was it previous day? Yeah, PowerShell to the rescue on day 20. So we're going to continue talking about PowerShell. And let's see, what have we got here? Believe the files we're looking for. Let's just take a quick look. Are under documents. There we go. So these are the files that are relative to or related to this particular challenge. Let's go ahead and pull up PowerShell here. So the database connector is missing. Let's go ahead and just run that and see what happens. Let's see, it was called DB deebee.exe. All right, so it looks like it's attempting, or it's accessing the Best Festival Company database. Using SSO to log in user. Done. Loading menu. Haha, guess what? Your database connector file has been moved and you'll never find it. I guess you can't query the naughty list anymore. And I think that's a Grinch emoji. All right, so the database connector file isn't working, and that's what we need to get around. So as we discuss PowerShell here, there's a couple things that the little tutorial kind of walks us through. First off, how to get a file hash. Let me kill this. There we go. So let's get some hashes. So first thing, if we look in, let's see, my fingers are frozen. All right, so we can see there's two files here. There's this db file hash and then db.exe. Let's see, get content. All right, so in this db file hash.txt, we can see that what we're actually expecting in this folder is a db.exe, and this is the hash. Sorry about that. My phone, well, I got too many zippers on. I can't get to it. Hopefully it won't be too loud. Okay, so this is the hash that we're expecting. And this is actually, if we scroll down to the challenges, the first one is read the contents of the text file within the documents folder. What's the file hash for db.exe? So that's the first question, the first answer there. And then the next one is it wants the hash for the mysterious executable within the documents. That's that db.exe. And back up here in the tutorial, they tell us exactly how do we get a MD5 hash of a file using PowerShell. So it's get file hash algorithm MD5 db.exe. All right, so we've got that hash. And that should be, yep, that would be the second question. And then we're going to use strings to find the hidden file within the executable. So in Linux, there's a command just called strings. Windows doesn't have that, but they have put a version of it that's compiled for Windows in the C tools directory. So we can run C tools string64.exe. We'll accept the EULA, and we'll run that on db.exe. All right, so these are all the strings that are in that file. And if we look through here, there we go. There's our flag. So it's THM for TryHackMe. That's how the flags have been throughout all these challenges. All right, and the last thing is what happens when we actually run the correct database connector file. So we've got to find the correct database connector file. Now, this file has been hidden using ADS. So ADS, that's an alternate data stream. It's a file attribute specific to NTFS, which is the file system used by modern Windows. Every file has at least one data stream, which is just $ data, and ADS allows files to contain more than one stream of data. Natively, Windows Explorer doesn't display ADS to the user. There are some third-party executables that can be used to view this data, but PowerShell gives you the ability to view ADS for files. So because alternate data streams don't display in Explorer, they've often been used by malware writers to hide data on an endpoint. Not all of its uses are malicious. When you download a file from the internet, for example, there are identifiers written to ADS to identify that it was downloaded from the internet. So I don't know if you've ever, you download something, you try to open it, and Windows tells you that this was downloaded from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? That is why. It's because that data is loaded into the file as an alternate data stream. All right, so how can we view alternate data streams with PowerShell? Where did my prompt go? There it is. All right, so we're going to use this command that they've given us here. All right, this RDP connection is a little slow and can be a bit of a pain, but here we go. Okay, so we're going to get item. Really? Let's see if we can scroll back down and get that back on the page. All right, let's hope it doesn't move. Get item dash path. There we go. db.exe, and we're going to look for streams. So we're going to give it the stream flag, and we're going to search for all streams. All right, so there are 2 streams shown here. So the tutorial already told us that every file has this $ data stream. So that is the default stream. That's where all the data is, or that's the actual file. And then there is a second stream here called HiDB. So now that we know that there is a second stream that's hidden in the file, how do we access it? Well, they give you another command here for that. So let's give that a try. All right, WMIC, we're going to process call create, resolve path, db.exe, and it was called HiDB. All right, let's see if that works. Okay, what did I do? Let's just copy this whole thing. I'm sure I typoed something somewhere. Come on. That looks like the exact same command. All right, I'm not sure what I mistyped there, but it looks like it is running. So we're actually running the executable that was hidden in the alternate data stream. Give that a minute to run, and then that's going to give us the final flag. Can you believe it was actually in the 30s today in Houston? It's crazy. All right, there's our flag. So that day is done. Day 21. Just a very basic interacting with ADS in PowerShell. All right. Let's get the next box up and running. I need some more coffee to warm me up. All right, looks like the past few days there have been strange things happening at the Best Festival Company. McEager hasn't had time to fully investigate the compromised endpoints with everything that's going on, nor does he have the time to re-image the workstations. McEager decides to log into a different workstation, one of his backup systems. McEager logs in, and to his dismay, he can't log into his password manager. So this is a fun one. It's not accepting his master key. He notices that the folder name has been renamed to something strange. You must gain access to the password manager and decode the values within the password manager using CyberChef. If you want to, you can watch the video here by John Hammond to solve this task. So once again, this is a Windows machine. We're going to need to use Remina in order to log in, but I'm still waiting for it to boot up. And this most of the stuff in this challenge really is just stuff we can all solve in CyberChef for the most part. There we go. Now I've got an IP. Let us connect. And again, don't forget to change your color depth settings like it tells us to here. So we've got 10.10.243.66. This time we're logging in as administrator. The password is snowflakes. Change that color depth. All right. So there's a little bit of a discussion here about password managers. Everybody should be using a password manager these days. There are many cloud-based ones, but there's also ones you can run locally, such as KeePass. So we've got this folder here with an odd name. Let's go ahead and open that up, and we can see that this is KeePass that is running. So I think there's a brief discussion here, a little bit of a discussion about CyberChef, and then we want to know what is the password to the KeePass database. Well, let's take a look at this folder name. Actually, before I do that, let me copy this first. So let's get that file name. All right. And now let's go ahead and open up CyberChef. Now there is okay. Come on, open up. There is a local version instance of CyberChef running. This thing's running so slow. I'm just going to copy it over and open it up here. So yeah, it was mentioned up here that in CTools, there's a local copy of CyberChef, which if you actually were running it locally, that would be the way to do it. But since we're RDPing through a remote session already, it's actually running really slow. So I'm just going to bypass that. But we can just decode it from base 64. I mean, this was obviously base 64. But actually, if you're following along the instructions in the tutorial, they're recommending that you just use the magic recipe. So whether or not you know what the encoding is, magic will tell you what it is. So this tells us it's base 64, and the password was the Grinch was here. Let me go ahead and copy that. So I've got that here. Let's put that in my local clipboard. Close that. See if I can get this folder to come back open. And All right, let's see if we can get KeyPass to open here and see if that is the right password. And the second question is, what was the encoding method used as the matching ops? And that was base 64. Right there. Okay, looks like we're going to have to wait a minute for KeyPass to load. And let us paste this in. So this should open our password database. And then the rest of this challenge is really just about finding the passwords in here. They've all been encoded some way. So we want to decode them. So what is the decoded password value of the ELF server? So let's look through our different categories here. All right, so under network, we have ELF server. So let's open that up. We click on these little, nope. Okay, let's try that again. Click on the little ellipses here, and we have our value. So this is encoded. We need to decode it. We can do the exact same thing we did before. Take this to CyberChef, paste it in there. I can tell us right here, this is just hexadecimal with no spaces. And the password is snowman with a capital or with an exclamation. So a 0 for an O, capital M, and a 4 for an A, snowman. All right, we can continue on to the next one. What is the password for Elfmail? And that, of course, is under email. We can see this one's been, they've tried to delete it, but it's still there. There's a history that's saved. So let's copy all this. I'm going to use our little clipboard tool to get it to my local machine's clipboard. And let's try that again in CyberChef. And once again, this is a HTML entity, and the password is ice skating. Okay, so we need to decode the last value. What is the flag? All right, this one's going to be a little bit more than just running magic on it. So the last value is in the recycle bin. This is the ELF security system. If we actually look here, there's nothing here. But in the notes, we can see this long string of data. So it looks like it's actually kind of JavaScript or something. We're doing an eval on string from char code and then a bunch of numbers. So let's copy that. Get that into our local clipboard. Take that to CyberChef. And Magic doesn't know what to do with it. All right, so that's great. But what we can see here, it tells us that this is from char code, and there is a char code or character code option here in CyberChef. So let's put that in there. All right, it doesn't look like that really gave us a whole lot, but let's look at our options here. So these numbers, first of all, notice these are not hexadecimal numbers. There's no letters here. These are all numbers 0 through 9. So this is actually base 10. And instead of delimited by a space, we're actually being delimited by a comma. So let's change our delimiter, and let's change our base from base 16, which is hexadecimal, to base 10, which is decimal. And we actually get something. All right, but from here we can see we're actually running some more JavaScript, and there's some more stuff in char code. So let's just do this again. Exact same options as before, and now we have a link. All right. Now, I know this is safe. I'm going to go ahead and open that link up. I wouldn't normally do that on just some random data that I found. Usually something obfuscated like that is malicious, but we know this is a safe one. So I've already opened it. Not in a sandbox, but we have our flag. And that would be the last flag. So that does it for day 22. And we are almost done, and I'm losing feeling in my fingers, so that is good news for me. All right, I'm going to terminate that box. And let's start up this last one. All right, so the mayhem at Best Festival Company continues. McEager receives numerous emails and phone calls about a possible ransomware attack affecting all the endpoints in the network. McEager knows the endpoints which are affected within the malware don't have any backup copies, but luckily on his workstation, he has backups enabled. So we want to investigate the malware and restore the files to their original state. So once again, we're going to use Remina to RDP into the target. We're going to wait a minute for that to load. But they do mention some other options here. So we're going to go to preferences from our dropdown. So here's the little dropdown. Going to preferences. We're going to click on RDP. And maybe this will make things run a little bit faster. We're going to change the quality settings to poor, but we are going to display our wallpaper. All right, let's close that. And then we got to wait a minute for the machine IP to load. So while we wait on that, I will remind you once again that we have a CTF coming up January the 14th. During that CTF, we will be live streaming the entire time. And when I say we, that would be me and some of my coworkers, as well as the Huntress team. So from Huntress side, we've got John Hammond, who's helped put together some of the challenges from this advent of cyber that we're looking at here, as well as Dave K. I'll just call him Dave K. I can't remember how to pronounce his last name, but he's also going to be joining us. He helped us put together one of the CTFs that we went through a few back in one of the early episodes of CTF and Cigars. We've worked with Huntress before on some CTFs in the past, so this is going to be fun. But this one is sponsored by Huntress, and they are providing the prizes, which I'm pretty excited about because the first place winner is going to get a Huntress-themed humidor, as well as a 6-month subscription to TryHackMe. Second place is a $100 Amazon gift card with a 3-month subscription. And then third place is a $50 gift card with a 1-month subscription. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm even more excited because this is going to be a King of the Hill style CTF. So there will be a number of servers that will be online and ready to hack into, all of them just full of vulnerabilities. Your goal is to get in and to place your flag on the server, but then you've got to keep everybody else out. So I think I'm still playing around with the configuration, but I think what we're going to go with is you get some points for your initial capture, and then every 30 seconds that you still own that machine, you get more points. So something like 50 for the capture, and then 10 points every 30 seconds for as long as you have it captured. If somebody takes it away from you, then they start getting points. Want to add some extra checks that aren't currently set up yet to make sure all the services are up and running. So you've got to actually maintain the servers, make sure that whatever it is they're hosting will be running. And what are they hosting? Well, that's where we're going to have some fun because they're going to be hosting video games. So we're going to set up a number of open source, so they're free and we don't have to worry about licensing video games. And me and the Huntress crew and the Perch crew are going to be playing some of those video games, as well as some others. We'll probably play some Among Us, maybe some Jackbox, as well as a FPS that we've got planned where we're going to be doing a team CTF. So we will be doing a CTF during the CTF. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's coming up January the 14th. I do have the registration site up and running now. So that is at play.bamctf.com. So this site is up and running. Click on the registration link to get started. For support, there will be a Slack channel, and all that information showing up here. So there's a link to the Slack channel where we'll be having support for the event. Reminder of the times here. And don't forget to actually watch the stream during the event. So that would be January the 14th, 10 a.m. Central through 4 p.m. Central. watch the stream as that is going. So it looks like we are 20 days, 23 hours, 27 minutes, and 17 seconds till go time. All right, so back to our challenges. So let us connect to this. So 10.10.4.219. Username is once again administrator. You know, it is hard to type with numb fingers and a cigar in your hand. Okay, I think I spelled that right that time. And the password once again is snowflakes. Don't forget to change your color depth. Again, that's all documented for you here in the tutorial. We will accept the certificate. Oh, all right, so I did mistype something. All right, let's just copy this. Come on, surely I can type administrator. There we go, I did it. Let's get that password. And change the color depth. There we go. All right, I love the background image here. You know, this is fine. So we have a ransom note. That's fun. See if we can get this whole thing to fit inside this little window. By the way, the attack box is not the only way we could do this. There is a VPN client that we could download and just run it from our own Kali box or whatever system that you want, and you can connect directly to the attack network that way. All right, so as you were calmly looking at your documents, I encrypted all the workstations at Best Festival Company just now, including yours, McEager. Send me lots and lots of money to my Bitcoin address, and maybe I'll give you the key to Decrypt. Again, we've got I believe that's a Grinch emoji. All right, so this is the Bitcoin address. However, if you're familiar with Bitcoin addresses, this one looks a little odd. Doesn't look very much like a Bitcoin address at all. All right, what else we got? So there's discussion on VSS, which is the volume shadow copy service. Coordinates actions are required to create consistent shadow copy, also known as a snapshot or a point in time of data that is to be backed up. That is the official definition. All right, malware writers know of this feature. They usually write code to disable it and delete those files. So doing so makes it impossible to recover from a ransomware attack unless you have an offline backup, which of course you do because you're not an idiot. Not all malware deletes the volume shadow copies, though. All right, so we're going to look into VSS. We're also going to look at the task scheduler. So the task scheduler enables you to automatically perform routine tasks on a chosen computer. This is just like cron in Linux. I only know how to reference things by making Linux references because I'm that guy. Task scheduler does this by monitoring whatever criteria you choose, referred to as triggers, then executing those tasks, which are called actions. All right, so malware writers often they often create scheduled tasks in order to, maintain persistence. All right, so there's some commands here and so on and so forth. We're talking about how to interact with shadow copies, and let's go ahead and get into the challenges. So first thing, decrypt the fake Bitcoin address. So like I said, that does not look like a Bitcoin address. Let me make sure I have that in the right clipboard. In fact, this actually looks just like base 64. But hey, let's continue doing what we did in the last time so we can use magic. We can see that, yeah, this does decode. Base 64, no more best festival company. All right, so that's decrypting that. At times, ransomware changes file extensions of encrypted files. What's the file extension of each of the encrypted files? All right, so first things first, let's find those encrypted files. So I believe they're going to be in documents. All right, but they might be hidden. So let's go ahead and view the hidden files. There we go. There's a confidential directory, and here is a .grinch file. So that would be, this is the file that was encrypted, and it's got the .grinch extension. All right, so now let's look at our scheduled tasks. Now they've made this easy for us. They've put the task scheduler right here on the taskbar. Let's take a look at the task scheduler library to see what tasks are currently scheduled. So we've got Amazon EC2, some Google Update stuff that's disabled, and then we've got this weird name thing, and then this is a shadow copy. All right, so what is the name of the suspicious scheduled task? And there it is. Inspect the properties of the scheduled task. What's the location of the executable that is run at login? So we can see this is at logon is when this runs, so that would be the trigger. And then the action is it's going to start a program, and it's running this C users administrator desktop and this OPIDSFSDF.exe, which is the answer to that question. All right, there's another scheduled task related to VSS. What is the shadow copy volume ID? So here's a shadow copy volume scheduled task, and there is a task ID right there. Or sorry, not a task ID, the volume shadow copy, the shadow copy volume, get those words in the right order, ID. So that would be the answer to that one. All right, so now we want to assign the hidden partition a letter. What's the name of the hidden folder? Okay, so that goes back up to the tutorial. They talk about using the, let's see, let me find it. All right, so using some command line tools here for interacting with it. Then they just talk about using disk management. So let's go ahead and minimize our task scheduler, and let's take a look down here. Again, they make it easy on us. They've put the disk management on the taskbar here. So we can see we've got our C drive, but then we have this backup partition. Unfortunately, the backup partition does not currently have a drive letter assigned to it, so we cannot access it from the Windows Explorer. So again, the tutorial tells us exactly what to do. We can right click on the partition, change drive letter and paths. We're going to add a drive letter, and let's just make this drive Z. Give that a minute here to run. Okay. Now we should be able to go to drive Z, and we have some data. Now let's see, what was the question about? The hidden, name the hidden folder, which was this confidential. We've already shown hidden folders, so we've got that. Okay, we want to right click, inspect the properties of the hidden folder, and then use the previous versions tab to restore it. Let's go to properties. We can see we've got previous versions. So this is where that shadow copy has been made. It's been backed up. And we've selected it. We can restore it. Yes, restore. All right, it's been successfully restored to the previous version. So now let's check that out. And we have our Grinch file, but now we actually have the original file. So this is the... Okay, stop that. My frozen fingers aren't as nimble as they usually are. I'm clicking on the wrong things everywhere. But we can see here, this is the password that we're looking for. So once we've decrypted it, there it is. All right, that does it for day 23. And it looks like I'm caught up with the advent of cyber. I was way behind as of last weekend, and now I am caught up. It only took streaming 3 days in a row. All right, I'm going to refresh, and let's just see if day 24 is up yet. And it is. I thought so. I was thinking that they launched these at 10 a.m. Let's have a quick look at this. You know what? I'm going to do day 24 and day 25 on Saturday. That'll give me something to do on Saturday, and then I won't make myself look like a fool by sitting here and totally missing whatever it is they're asking for while trying to go through all of this live. It looks like we are doing something with burp. That's interesting because I accidentally opened burp. It's like my fingers knew what I was doing even if I didn't. So this should be fun. So you've got this to look forward to on Saturday. So don't forget to come back Saturday at 10 a.m. Central Time, where I will have a different cigar, and we will go through days 24 and 25 in order to finish up the advent of Cyber 2 from TryHackMe. So thanks again, everybody, for watching today. I'm going to have to get inside and warm up. It got cold today in Houston. Doesn't normally do that. But yeah, I think that'll do it for now. Don't forget about the CTF that is coming up again, January the 14th. Again, that registration link is play.bamctf.com. That's play.bamctf.com. The site is up now. You can register today. There will be more information about that as we get closer to time. But go ahead and spread the news and get that registration. Get yourself registered, and don't forget to join the Slack channel, where we'll be doing support and some chat and all through the event, as well as through the live stream, because again, we will be live streaming through the entire CTF. That's why we only made it 6 hours. I thought that was enough, plenty of time to try to fill while we're streaming. So that all is coming up. I think that is it for now. I will see you again at Saturday morning, 10 a.m. We'll finish up the advent of cyber. So I will see you guys next time. And next time you're in a CTF and you get stuck, don't forget the wise words of BAMD, the ultimate tip, the ultimate hint. Try harder, don't panic, and always RTFM. Bye.
Die!